Would the candidates for the degrees please be seated? And would our student greeters please come forward? Our student greeters will welcome you to our commencement in 14 different languages.
Hello, my name is Berna Perez and I will greet you in Spanish. Buenos días y bienvenidos a la ceremonia de graduación 2012 de la Facultad de Luskin en Gestión Pública de UCLA.
Good morning. My name is Chen Liu. I will greet you in Chinese. 欢迎莅临2012加州大学洛杉矶分校 Luskin Public School 学院 ，sorry 公共事务学院 ，sorry I'm bilingual 。公共事务学院毕业典礼 ，Thank you。
Hello everyone, my name is Tannaz Alaqband and I'll greet you in Farsi. خانواده و دوستان عزیز، به مراسم فارغ التحصیلی دانشکده امور اجتماعی لاسکین در UCLA خوش آمدید. Thank you. Good morning, my name is Brandy Barda and I will greet you in Nyabere. Nientore dega timraga, muntanete madare graguene hatudige nyatabere UCLA. Thank you.
My name is Tatiana Plaksina, and I will be greeting you in Russian. Добро пожаловать на выпускную церемонию 2012 года студентов Ласкинского института UCLA.
Hello, I'm Christina Consalvalis, and I'll be greeting you in Greek. Kalos ήρθατε στη τελωτή έναρξη του 2012 στο σχολείο της σχολής. UCLA Luskin, Δημοσίων Υποθέσεων. I love you, Mom and Dad.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dong-Soo Khan. I will greet you in Korean. 2012년 UCLA Luskin School 공공정책대학원 졸업식에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 감사합니다, 부모님.
Good morning. My name is Dao Don, and I will greet you in Vietnamese. Xin chào mừng quý khách đã đến tham dự buổi lễ ra trường của trường công vụ Luskin, Đại học UCLA năm 2012. Love you.
Hello everyone, my name is Rabia and I will be greeting you in Urdu. आप सबको UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs की 2012 शुरुआती तकरीबात में खुशामदीद.
Hello, my name is Abir Gabber and I'll be greeting you in Arabic. أهلا وسهلا مرحبا بكم لحفلة التخرج لدفعة 2012 لجامعة UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs.
Morning, my name is Annie Kuo and I will greet you in Taiwanese. 欢迎大家来参加 UCLA Luskin 公共事务会议2012年的毕业典礼。
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zodin Del Rosario, and I will be greeting you in Tagalog. Maligayang pagdating sa 2012, nagtatapos sa UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs.
Hello, my name is Hristo Marokov and I will greet you all in Bulgarian. Dobar den и добре дошли на церемонията по завършване на Калифорнийския университет Лос Анджелес, факултет Публично дело. Thank you.
Thank you, student greeters. They reflect the great diversity of our school. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Dean, Franklin D. Gilliam, Jr.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. It is my sincere pleasure to welcome family and friends, faculty, and most importantly, our graduating class of 2012. Today is a very special day, of course, because for the UCLA Luskin family, it marks another exciting year, and as we send our graduates out into the world, we're always thrilled by this event. Before I begin more formal remarks, I just want to recognize two very important friends of the school. They're not here today, but they've certainly made their presence felt, and that's Meyer and Rini Luskin. When they made their historic commitment to scholarship and research and practice here at the school, they ensured that a meaningful and necessary legacy would be established in our three departments. And they, more importantly, provided the gift in such a way that it will benefit future generations of Luskin scholars. So we are thrilled, of course, by the great generosity of the Luskin family. And it's through their generosity and their leadership that has inspired others to give to the school. So I ask you to join me in paying tribute to Meyer and Rini Luskin. All of you who are here today are graduating class of 2012 because you're dedicated to driving forward positive change. You hear me talk a lot about making a difference, being an agent of change, and doing so to lead us to a more just and efficient and equitable society. Now, as individuals and as a group, today is your day to savor and to celebrate. It's the culmination of many long hours of delving into complex problems facing our society, of challenging the conventional wisdom, of questioning the tried and true, and of building pathways to a brighter future for all members of our society. We believe that today you begin your careers prepared to put these skills to work, and perhaps now more than ever, our country, our city, and our world need a new generation of leaders to go out and to address the great challenges that face us. In many ways, now is your time. There is an interesting change going on in the world. Both we're trying to learn from past history and past great challenges. But what we really want you to be about and what we want to be about at the Luskin School is not only identifying problems, but is advancing solutions. To apply your innovation and creativity to make a new path forward, to find better, more equitable solutions to the challenges that face us, to lead organizations and institutions that refuse to stop at the status quo, that strive for the ideal, and that have a real commitment to making positive social change. So we're interested in protecting and supporting the healthy development of our most vulnerable populations. A society is only as strong as its weakest members. We have to plan and build communities that improve the lives of the families that live within them. For you planners, it's not just about designing roads and trains and bridges, but it's also about trying to think of the ways in which the families that live in those communities strive for a better life. We look for our policy students to think creatively about, to cheer, right? But we want you to be cheerleaders for effective public policy, to be cheerleaders for the equitable distribution of goods and services in the society, and to be cheerleaders for the kinds of tough policy decisions that need to happen in our communities and around the globe. Change is never easy. But you know as well as I do that this work is vitally important to the future of our city and our state and our nation and indeed the globe. So I urge you to stay focused on these broader goals. You're going to go out, you're going to start your career, you're going to be thinking about what you have to do each day, but somewhere in the back of your mind, on top of the skills that you received here at UCLA Luskin, I want you to sort of in the back of your mind keep this bigger goal in mind, this goal about how we change the world. You know, I say this when you come in, I'm saying this when you leave. And everybody tells me it's corny, but I believe it, which is we're here to change the world. One step, one action, one thought at a time. So stay focused on these broader goals. And I want you to keep the words of the French author and poet Anatole France in mind, which said, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. You've made it here today because you're capable of dreaming up solutions to problems we face as society, because you believe in the justice of leaving a world better off for your participation in it. And you should know that we believe in you. We stand behind you and we support you. You are, you know, I said this the other day at one of the grad night things. We're like a family, the kind of family that you cannot leave. Once you're in for life. You are a member of the UCLA Luskin family. We will always be behind you. We will always be here supporting you. We want you to make sure that you stay in touch with us, and we will try very hard to stay engaged with you. So as the newest members of the UCLA Luskin family, you're a part of a global community of scholars, of activists, of problem solvers, of advocates that number in the thousands. I want to say personally that I'm proud of you guys. It's not easy. It's not easy. You got here because you have the goods. But it also comes with some responsibility. Be responsible for how you make your way in this world. Be responsible for thinking about your fellow man and woman, I guess one would say. Be responsible not only for yourself and your family, but for others in your community. So we're proud of you. We're proud of the hard work that brought you to this moment. We're proud of your achievements as we celebrate this day, and we look forward with great anticipation to your accomplishments that lie in the future. I want you all to know that as long as I'm dean, I will always be here for you. Stay in touch. We're extraordinarily proud of you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, Dean Gilliam. And now I would like to ask Chair Fernando Torres Gil to come forward for the presentation of the Social Welfare Student Award and introduction of this department's student speaker.
Thank you, Associate Dean Lucas Sideris. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Social Welfare Student Award to Ms. Jennifer Vallejo. Jennifer, please come up. Jennifer exemplifies the American dream and the dream of all immigrants who come to this country. Her family immigrated from Ecuador. She served as a role model for her family, having received a BS from UCLA in marine biology, and today her MSW from the Luskin School. She exemplifies the leadership that we expect of all our graduates, having taught English in Japan, having taught first grade in Boyle Heights, having managed a tutoring company. She has shown that she will change the world. And she exemplifies the qualities that we expect of all our students of commitment to social justice. And she will pursue her career working for the Department of Mental Health, Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall, and ensuring that all children of our great diverse community have an advocate that will serve them and ensure that they can enjoy the fruits of this great American dream. I am honored to present to Jennifer the Outstanding Student of the Year Award for the Department of Social Welfare. Congratulations. We are proud of you, Jennifer. I would like to introduce Stephanie Hare, who will give the student address for the Department of Social Welfare. Stephanie?
Thank you. Welcome, UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs. Dean Gilliam, faculty, staff, students, and our cherished family and friends. Years ago, as I sat in one of my final college classes, I shared plans to pursue a master's in social welfare. After a short pause, a classmate asked me a now familiar question: why in the world would you want to do social work? And what exactly do social workers do anyway? Maybe some of you also received the same question. Personally, I always did my best to answer. I told people what I knew. I knew I wanted to help others. But standing here today, looking back at my time spent over the last 2 years, I have to admit, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But this wasn't a bad thing. I had no idea of the magnitude of my profession. I had no idea of the long lineage of social workers that have devoted their lives, risking so much to ensure equality, human well-being, and meaningful social change. When times have seemed their darkest, it's been social workers that have guided us forward. When America's economy and spirit shook with uncertainty at the dawn of the 20th century, Nobel Prize winner Jane Addams and her Hull House blazed a new trail for working-class families, women, and immigrants. When those fighting for civil rights were met with fire hoses and police dogs on the streets of Birmingham, social worker Dorothy Height ushered in a new era of dialogue and understanding by bridging a racial divide marked by centuries of conflict. When the LGBT community faced prosecution and incarceration based simply on who they love, social workers united to force the US Supreme Court to end laws that perpetuated stigma, hate crimes, and discrimination. But we're not here to talk about history. We're here because it has come time for us to start making history. We've been given the privilege to study under the most expert and dynamic faculty in the nation, at one of the world's most esteemed universities. Every moment, even if we didn't realize it, was a vital part of our training. Do you remember our first quarter in our feelings class? We compared our unearned privileges and shared the most intimate details with total strangers. We used a web of colorful string to represent our connection as human beings. That was a lesson in compassion and trust. Do you remember when those total strangers became some of your closest friends? We shared lives outside of class. Open mic night, caucus fundraisers, or the 7-hour bus ride to lobby in Sacramento. Do you remember how happy hour somehow transformed into group therapy hour? That was a lesson in self-care and the power of an open ear. Do you remember logging 12-hour days on campus, sleep-deprived, wondering if you had made a difference at all in your client's life? We were told, trust the process. And we did, and here we are, ready to join our fellow social workers, ready to become beacons and bridges and warriors for those who need it most. But before we move on, we must give thanks. This day is not all about us and our accomplishments. As MSWs, we live and breathe the idea that every individual is a part of a larger environment. Thank you to our families, our first lens for understanding human connection and relationships, who taught us that there's good in the world and that people can be trusted. Though we are now considered masters of empathy and advocacy, we still value your hugs, love, encouragement, and maybe even a couple of free meals every now and then. Thank you to our Student Alliance leaders, to our caucus leaders, our field liaisons, and to the administration, who answered our endless emails filled with frantic questions and concerns. Class of 2012, you are the most genuine, brave, and passionate group of individuals I have ever met. Each of you has blown me away with your ability to find solutions to large-scale social problems and critically analyze systems of oppression. There will be times in our future that we may doubt ourselves, and we may even doubt our profession, but those feelings are healthy. They remind us to take a breath, check ourselves, remain true to the values of social work, and remember those that came before us, those who saw a need and met it. We will not always know the outcome, but we must remain confident in the process. As you leave here, graduates, think back to the words of fellow MSW alum Charles Lee Johnson, who challenged our cohort to be professional, but never forget to be personal. Thank you, and happy Father's Day, Dad.
Thank you, Stephanie, and particularly for reminding us about Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all dads. And now, I would like to ask Chair Lois Takahashi to come forward for the presentation of the Urban Planning Student Award and introduction of this department's student speaker.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. It's my privilege to present the 2012 Dean's Award for Overall Excellence in Urban Planning to Jessica Durham. Jessica, will you please come forward? Jessica's graduate studies in the Master of Urban Regional Planning program focus on transformative planning, community organizing, community economic development, popular education, and worker-owned cooperatives. Prior to pursuing her degree in urban planning, Jessica worked on a range of grassroots social and economic organizations and campaigns. For 7 years, she worked for Centro Presente, an immigrants' rights organization in Boston, and she played a central role in its transformation from a nonprofit service provider to a member-based organization. She has also volunteered with Doctors for Global Health in Oaxaca, Mexico, supporting a popular health organization that organizes women as health promoters. While studying in the Luskin School, she has conducted research on the impact of the foreclosure crisis on communities of color and on U.S.-Mexico cross-border labor solidarity, and has contributed to research for the Clean Car Wash campaign and the Clean Up, Green Up campaign, showing small businesses how to adopt more sustainable practices. She was an intern with the Community Financial Resource Center in South Los Angeles, and she also completed a capstone project. How did you do all this, Jessica? on the potential of cooperatives as a collective strategy for mobile vendors participating in their microlending program. In addition to all that, she completed a second capstone project. That must be a first. On the right to health in South Los Angeles as part of our Community Scholars Program. And I have to read this again. Actually, she completed 2 capstone projects. I mean, you know, we're talking about all these, the hard work everybody does. So completing 2 is way above the call of duty. Jessica was also a recipient of the very prestigious Meyer and Renee Luskin Fellowship, and she's graduating with a perfect 4.0 GPA. And some happy news that we just found out yesterday, I think, or was it the day before? Jessica was just offered a job at the Los Angeles Alliance for a New Economy in their research department, working on their Clean and Safe Ports campaign to create good jobs, healthy communities, and a clean environment in the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. So please join me in congratulating Jessica Durham. I would like to now introduce Betsy Edisari, who will give the student address for urban planning.
Thank you, Lois. And congratulations, class of 2012. I am so honored and so humbled to speak before such an inspiring group of people whom we can now officially call masters of urban and regional planning. And now that we've mastered the field of urban planning, I'm fully confident that we can all brilliantly and succinctly explain to folks what this field is all about. So when I first told my parents I was going to study urban planning, I brilliantly explained, so it's kind of a cross between architecture, politics, communities, transportation, environment, real estate, public art, and engineering, under this kind of umbrella of social, economic, and racial justice. To which they promptly responded, honey, I think you might still be able to go into medicine if you try. Okay, so my parents couldn't be here today, but they got me thinking. And so I've been thinking about it and kind of agonizing about it, because after 2 years, I should probably have an explanation for the audience here, and of course for my parents. So I took it to the internet, and I looked it up on Wikipedia, because that's just where you go when you're doing rigorous research. And I actually learned this from the program. And so Wikipedia had this to say: urban planning is a technical and political process, something, control and use of land, something, transportation networks and design of urban environment, something, research, analysis, strategic thinking, policy management, something. So, well, this definition wasn't really satisfying to me, so I decided to take my research further, and so I led some structured interviews and focus groups. I ran some performas and regressions. I did a Delphi study, and I obviously made some maps. So I really did my research, and for those of you who just finished your client projects and comp projects, you know this. And congratulations, by the way, again. So my well-informed conclusion: planning is everything. Okay, so maybe my research didn't quite pan out as I had hoped. But I realized that you all, from students to faculty to practitioners, have already been doing an incredible job defining and redefining this field. So why dwell on this question? So let me instead pay tribute to the remarkable individuals that you are, and to the amazing work that you all have done and will continue to do. Many of us came into this program from a variety of professional backgrounds. So let's see, we were journalists, labor and community organizers, consultants, engineers, artists, architects, advocates. One of us was even our current mayor's bodyguard and right-hand man. But despite our differences, many of us actually share a number of idiosyncrasies, which is oxymoronic, I know. Planners are nerds. They're hip, so a lot of them have thick-rimmed glasses and well-coiffed beards, but we're nerds nonetheless. We're also really into beautiful buildings, bicycles, public transit, and maps. I mean, you can literally talk to a planner about a single layer on a map for hours. But planners are also some of the most dedicated people that I know. I mean, I've seen people living in that dungeon of a lab, working on maps and transportation assignments, often not leaving said lab for days, which guys promise me that you will never ever do again, because it was getting kind of disturbing. People brought in food, blankets, and pillows, and cases of beer. And that's just sad. You're also unbelievably creative. You're the only people I've met who can talk about density or transit lines without getting yelled at public hearings. You're problem solvers. When your design program fails you, I've seen you bust out hand-drawn sketches and magically DIY your way to design projects. You're also deeply empathetic and committed to social justice in all forms, with projects on street vending and slum housing, multimodal levels of service, making our streets more complete, right to health in South LA, building affordable housing infrastructure, and bolstering the green manufacturing sector to create good jobs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But mostly, y'all are some of the most humble people I've ever met about what you've done, where you've been, and where you're going. And so I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to know you all and share just a fraction of what you've done today. You guys blow me away. And I'm so excited to pick up the phone and call on my MERP family anytime I have a question about entitlements or CEQA or anything else. For those with jobs, congratulations. For those who have yet to find jobs, I have the utmost faith that a job is just around the corner. And if not, shoot, we'll start something, because that's what we do. Thanks to our amazing staff, Robin, Jen, and Marcia, we love you, and we couldn't have done this without you. To the staff of the Luskin School of Public Affairs, to all the incredible faculty that we've had the opportunity to work with, to the UCLA Labor Center for creating a space to bridge theory and practice in this beautiful city we've called home, to all the student organizations, including Planners of Color for Social Equity, Planners Network, among a host of others, and finally to our families and friends for sticking by us even when we might have gotten a little crazy. So since this is a graduation speak, I know I should probably give you guys some kind of takeaway, but A, I think we all have some idea of the pressing challenges we face, or at least we will be reacquainted with them soon enough away from the sun-kissed steps of Royce Hall. And B, I feel like our faculty have really given us some incredibly poignant advice over the years, so hold that close. So as you wade your way through the endless alphabet soup of programs and agencies, the SCAGs, the COGs, HSRs, RDAs, TODs, GISs, LOSs, LOL. Did I mention planners enjoy acronyms? Just remember, and insert cheesy planning joke here, there are no setbacks or height restrictions to your dreams. So whatever you do, approach this. So whatever you do, approach this next step with boldness, heart, creativity, and humility as you already do. And don't forget what brought you to this program in the first place. Thank you all. I love you all. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Betsy. We have to remember this one line: no setbacks or height restrictions to your dreams. I like that. Okay, and now I would like to ask Chair Michael Stoll to come forward for the presentation of the Public Policy Student Award and introduction of this department's student speaker.
Thank you, Associate Dean, and good morning and congratulations again, Class of 2012, Public Policy. It is my great pleasure to announce the Master in Public Policy Student of the Year, and that goes to Abby McClellan. Abby, please join me at the stage. And while she makes her way here, I want you to know that there are many factors that the department considers when awarding this distinction, and Abby excels in all of these: academics, leadership, service, and demonstrated commitment to the public good. At our department awards reception last night, Abby additionally received awards for academic excellence, distinguished teaching assistant, and outstanding leadership. This award is the culmination of the high regard we have for her many accomplishments and endeavors. Abby is a UCLA Law School alumna who came to the MPP program after working many years as a staff attorney for Neighborhood Legal Services. Although she was successful and effective advocate for her low-income clients, she became increasingly frustrated by the policy and systemic problems that her clients faced. Abby consequently returned to graduate school to pursue the MPP degree in order to affect social change on a policy level above and beyond her individual advocacy efforts. While Abby did not have the quantitative training as many of her peers, she embraced the rigorous training provided in the program. She excelled in both statistics and microeconomics and even became TA for advanced statistics. That is quite a feat for someone with only a little background in the field. In fact, Abby has so embraced quantitative analysis that she will be entering the PhD program in research and evaluation methodology, focusing on quantitative analysis for education and policy at the University of Colorado at Boulder, coming this fall. But at least you think that Abby will disappear into the abyss of statistical software. Let me mention her other accomplishments and attributes that we recognize today. Her undergraduate degree was in psychology, and this has served her well as a TA and in other aspects of her program. Abby's award for her service as a TA was not only for her intelligence and mastery of the subject, but for her ability to communicate patiently and effectively challenging concepts and statistical methodologies. One student commented on her TA evaluation, quote, "Abby really knows her stuff and is so excited about statistics that it is hard to not also get excited. Despite her extensive knowledge of statistics, she was able to explain things in a simplified layman's or laypeople's terms, which was very useful," unquote. Eliciting excitement in students about statistics is definitely quite an accomplishment. I'll tell you that for sure. Abby will probably remember most for her workshop that she presented 2 years in a row. She presented a workshop entitled How to Talk About and to People with Disabilities that addressed the importance of language when interacting with already marginalized individuals. This workshop also provides insight into Abby's personality and character. She can intellectually comprehend very sophisticated and complex information, but she also has the intuition and conscientiousness to be able to interact with individuals who are very different from her and from her demographic background. Policies ultimately affect individuals. Abby has the capacity to appreciate and understand both. Universities are replete with bright and intelligent individuals, but having intelligence coupled with exemplary interpersonal skills is truly noteworthy. And finally, I would like to commend Abby for her strong sense of social justice. That has been her animating drive throughout all her professional pursuits as an attorney and now in the policy world. She has the passionate fever to challenge the entrenched inequities all too common throughout our society. We teach rigorous analytic methods in the MPP program, but when they are grounded in principles such as equity and justice, these methods become powerful tools to ensure policies for the greater public good. We are confident that Abby is destined to become an influential and principled policymaker in the years to come. So it is readily apparent that Abby has earned the respect and esteem of her peers, of our faculty, and the constituents that she serves. Abby, you are a stellar example of the type of person and professional we would like our MPP students to become. Congratulations, and please join me in congratulating Abby McClendon on winning this distinguished award. It's also my great pleasure to bring to the podium Michelle de Santiago, who will give the student address for public policy. Michelle.
So first thing accomplished, I didn't fall on the way up here. Good morning and welcome. It is my distinguished honor to speak before you today. Before I begin, I would like to wish my mom a happy birthday and happy Father's Day, and express my sincerest gratitude to my husband, Carlos, without whom I would not be standing here today. And of course, I offer a great big thank you to all the friends and family who have supported me and the other graduates when we needed it most. Now I turn to my colleagues. Think back for a moment on the day you decided to apply to grad school, the day you found out you were admitted to UCLA, and finally, the first day of orientation. Think about the emotions and the thoughts that you had during those first steps. It is a remarkable journey that we have taken together and individually from that first moment to this unforgettable day. In between, we have overcome one challenge after another, some academic in nature and others deeply personal. Think about what you've learned, all that you have gained, the multitude of theories and data and specific skills, the aha moments, and even times that you felt discouraged at the state of the world. Now think about your personal statement and the mission you set for yourself. For some, that mission was about change at an individual level. For others, the reach was broader. Today marks an important part of your mission, your purpose in life. The journey has not been easy, but it is definitely worthwhile. It will not be easy after today, but it is necessary. And the path to a just world requires all of us. A commitment to change begins with me. It begins with what I choose to do and not to do the moment I walk out those doors. It is how hard I try when I've lost hope. It is how much I challenge the status quo when others are content to follow it. Change is the smallest, tiniest of impacts that I make every day that I try to make this world a better place. A commitment to change also begins with you. It is the choices you make when you leave here today. It is how much you give when others have lost hope. Change is the feeling you get when someone says thank you and when they don't. Change is the cumulative impact of every day of struggle. It does not come swiftly, nor does it right the wrongs, but it is the reason we exist. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., "The arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice." Always remember to do the right thing. Be courageous, be bold, be true to yourself, and most of all, change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And now I would like to ask our Dean Gilliam, to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Wendy Gruel.
Wendy just said to me, gosh, your students are just great, and it reminded me that one of the great things about this day, where we get to hear about the accomplishments of the students, is truly how spectacular our students are. And again, we're very proud of you. Well, I have the great honor today to introduce Los Angeles City Controller Wendy Gruel as our commencement speaker. Wendy is a longtime friend of the UCLA Luskin School, and of course many of you know her as a public servant with a outstanding track record of service to Southern California. Of course, as City Controller, Wendy is the Chief Watchdog. I don't know if I'd want to be known as the Watchdog. How about the Chief Accountability Officer? Is that better? Of LA City government, leading investigations into ineffective spending, waste and fraud, and abuse by government officials. She is the person who makes city government accountable. She grew up in the San Fernando Valley And she had an early start to her political life. She was student body president at Kennedy High School in the Valley. And then she made the spectacular decision to attend UCLA and study political science, and went then to work for Tom Bradley, mayor of Los Angeles at the time. She worked for Henry Cisneros, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and then went on to the city council as the representative, one of the representatives from the Valley. She worked to improve traffic and reduce congestion throughout the city, still things dear to her heart. She fought to preserve open space across the region, and in a kind of foreshadowing of her current position, she was really active in balancing the city's budget and reducing the influence of money on local politics. Now, many of the students know Comptroller Gruhl because she has been the driving force behind UCLA Luskin Day at City Hall, where we've had students from the school come together with city leadership to explore solutions to the challenges that our elected officials face every day. And Luskin Day at City Hall is always a tremendous event. Wendy's Bruin roots run deep. She's been on the Alumni Association Board, the Foundation Board. She's on our own Luskin Center for Innovation Board. In 2009, she received the university's award for public service. It's given in recognition of outstanding records of service in government. Many of you know there's been a series of commentaries about the 20th, marking the 20 years since the disturbances in LA, and what you might not know is that Wendy, of course, was a public servant at the time when she toured the aftermath and got a close-up look at what was going on. She later made the following remarks: if there was one message I took away from this experience, it's that we are one city. Yes, we are composed of small communities in different places, but ultimately we are one city. And you should care about your fellow man or woman in other parts of the city and should want to ensure that they have economic and educational opportunities. I think that people understand now that that kind of violence is not acceptable, but rather I hope people have realized that they can use their voices to protest and advocate and ensure that justice is carried out. And I just want to add, personally, Wendy is one of the really great Bruins. She has been active at UCLA for a long time. She is extremely dedicated to this university and always rises to the call when we ask her to participate here at the university. As many of you know, she is a candidate for mayor of this city, and many of us hope that we continue the string of Bruins in City Hall. That would be a good thing, and then the Trojans can work for us. Oh, did I say that? Sorry about that. A lot of problems, big city, you know, other universities can participate as long as they work for us. But Wendy is a true Bruin. I must say, I've never met anybody, and particularly a public servant, who has really committed to a public university and to public education in the way that she has. So I'm personally absolutely thrilled she is today's commencement speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles City Controller Wendy Gruhl.
I think as I sat here, I decided that if all of you could just come work for the city of Los Angeles tomorrow, we will solve all of our problems with the energy and passion. Let's give our students and speakers that were here today an incredible round of applause. I am so honored to be here today. It's a day of tremendous significance in your lives, a day of great achievement for each of you, and a day to celebrate and acknowledge this amazing institution at which you have been educated and from which you are now graduating, the UCLA Meyer and Rini Luskin School of Public Affairs. As mentioned, I too am a proud Bruin. I have been 8 clapping for more years than I'd like to admit. Like you, as you will learn, I was incredibly well served by my education here. My years at UCLA prepared me to meet the myriad of challenges that have come my way. I couldn't have imagined on my graduation day, so many years ago, that I would be standing here in 2012 giving a commencement speech and working towards, yes, becoming the 3rd Bruin in the history of the city and 1st woman to become mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Now, I don't think there's been anyone from USC that's been a mayor, just saying. I'm not sure which is more difficult, giving a commencement speech or running for mayor of Los Angeles. As you know, and I'm sure you know this after today and even before, you are indebted to the faculty, administration, and supporters of this institution, and of course, your parents and your family. As I sat here, I did the math. I'm hoping in 2025, my son will be graduating from UCLA. And I know that every parent that is here and the Luskins who made this program possible by their commitment, they've all invested in you. They've taken the responsibility to ensure that you will have the opportunity to flourish in whatever you decide to do. And as a thank you, let's give them all a great round of applause. Now, fundamentally, the mission of this school is to train leaders. Leaders who will enter into the great debates of our time, whether in the areas of social justice, urban planning, or public policy, more broadly defined. By graduating from this school on this day, each of you has proven able and deserving of taking up that mantle of leadership, and I encourage you to let this be your charge. Now, there are those, these days in particular, who wish to devalue a career devoted to public policy and public affairs, who suggest that the true value is only in one's position, measured in monetary terms. Some even go further to assert that a life devoted to addressing issues of government adds to the problems affecting our society, rather than serving to solve them. Let me assure you that the proponents of such views are quite mistaken. You have chosen to engage in a noble cause, steeped in complexities, oftentimes divisiveness, routinely frustrating, but always possessed of the possibility that true change can be made to improve people's lives. You are here because you want to solve problems and empower others to do so as well. These days, that's a rare commodity. Looking out at all of you today, beginning a new career path or further advancing one already commenced, I can't not think about 2 people who inspired me on my path today. One was the son of sharecroppers who came to UCLA 75 years ago on athletic scholarship. He later became a police officer, but couldn't get credit in a department store and even had to have a white intermediary buy his first house. Tom Bradley had already moved into the mayor's mansion when I started to work for him. The example of his quiet persistence and his belief in the basic goodness of people, especially the people of Los Angeles, stays with me to this day. Another one of my influences was a little girl from the wrong side of the tracks who walked up to the grandest house in town only to have the door slammed in her face one Halloween night, simply because she was poor. She was told, "We don't give to your kind." She vowed at that moment to own that house one day. Years later, she returned to buy that house. My mother turned it into a bed and breakfast, making good on the promise she made to herself as a child. And although she's not with me today, I know that she is so proud. She's probably surprised that I would be giving a commencement speech too, just so you know. So I get a little choked up because she gave so much to me, as many of your parents have to you. But what I learned from these people in my life, and what I hope you have gained here at Luskin, is don't let other opinions define you. Don't let other agendas deny you. So now, as I've heard from many of you today, you're ready to take on the big issue of the day and make some bold changes. You're feeling pretty good, as you should. But you might be asking yourselves, how's this really going to work? How am I going to accomplish the things that are important to me? Am I really going to make a difference? Well, of course, the answer is yes. But I'd like to suggest a few thoughts to keep in mind as you begin to navigate your own way. The first is the word can't is a 4-letter word. You will be told time and time again, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or it can't be done that way, or maybe even you can't win. Keep your own counsel and do not be deterred. I was told when I ran for city council, when I was running against and then sitting assembly member, chair of the budget committee, I was told simply, you can't win. It's not your turn. I did not listen to those who told me I can't, and I won that race by 225 votes out of 30,000. I also learned something very valuable in that first race. When it comes to running for public office or transitions in your life, some of your friends will disappoint you terribly, and total strangers will absolutely amaze you. Be prepared to talk about and be open to all kinds of people and situations and adapt to what happens and move on. One cannot rely on expectations to move forward in life. There will always be surprises. Second, be comfortable in who you are. Don't try to be someone or something you are not. There is no doubt that you will find yourselves in difficult debates and difficult circumstances, tension-filled and acrimonious at times. When I was running for city controller, I was being interviewed by an editorial board and was asked this question: can you be mean enough to be city controller? As the former governor of Michigan, Jennifer Granholm, said, and a sentiment which I subscribe to completely, do not confuse civility with weakness. Creating public policy means different things at different times. You may be engaged in balancing competing interests, advocating for one side or another, challenging the status quo, and holding certain people accountable for meeting their objectives or doing what they said they were going to do. All of these things can be accomplished and achieved by engaging in civil discourse and behaving with civility. Doing so does not mean you're not tough enough. It simply means you're respectful of another person's point of view, whether you disagree with it vehemently or not. This leads to my last bit of advice. Do not be sidetracked from what you're doing and doing what you think is the right thing because you may anger someone and, yes, maybe make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, maybe even ruffle a few feathers. As controller, one of my responsibilities is to conduct audits of various city departments and city programs. I've conducted over 50 audits, including the Housing Department, the Department of Transportation, Department of Water and Power, Workers' Comp Program in the City Attorney's Office, and many more. And I know when I release each audit, and I have to make that phone call to tell them I'm releasing it, someone's not going to like it. Someone is going to be angry with me. In fact, I was getting into the elevator of City Hall not long ago, and a city employee who I didn't know got into the elevator, and it was Friday afternoon. I was tired, and I was had to go to 3 events, and I thought, am I going to make it? And this individual said, you know, Wendy, I think you're doing a great job. And I was lifted. I was ready. And then she looked at me and said, but does anyone like you anymore? Well, from time to time, people don't like me for what I'm doing. But I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, and I will continue to do that. I'm confident that each of you will be in that exact situation at one time or another in the future. Do what you think is the right thing to do, even if you may suffer slings and arrows as a result. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called exercising leadership, and that is your charge. To me, leadership in developing successful public policy requires a strong vision with the ability to both understand and deliver on the details. Because without the nuts and bolts, you don't have buildings, only blueprints. Of course, along with the vision and appreciation of the details, to be truly successful, you need good tools and knowledge about how to use them. Those you have, and those we celebrate today. Perhaps you saw Mayor Bloomberg's piece in the Huffington Post yesterday entitled The Mayor's Challenge, and in it he announced his philanthropic organization is launching a new prize competition called the Mayor's Challenge, and is going to award $9 million for cities to come up with bold ideas for solving major problems and improving city life. I mention this because he rightly asserts that many of the nation's most innovative and promising initiatives are emerging from public policy developed in local governments. I do believe that cities can be laboratories for change and innovation. I believe that Los Angeles is the greatest city in the world. Its diversity, its creativity, its culture, and its people make it great. Just look at the students we heard today, not only introduce in their 14 different languages, but the speeches that we heard. The future of Los Angeles is bright. But, like many other cities, we face many challenges. Too many of our children do not graduate from public schools. Too many men, women, and children live on the streets of Los Angeles, and too many are unemployed and desperately searching for a job to provide for their family. And yes, too many of us spend an inordinate amount of time in our cars. Building upon a statement that President Clinton once said, there is nothing wrong with Los Angeles that cannot be fixed with what's right with Los Angeles. Maybe some of you will fix our educational system so that your education does not depend on where you live in the city of Los Angeles. Maybe some of you will help solve the crisis in child welfare that has plagued Los Angeles County for so long. Maybe some of you will make sure that urban planning in the city of Los Angeles is not an oxymoron. Maybe some of you will help design the smart transit-oriented development Los Angeles needs to be both prosperous and livable. Maybe some of you will help ensure that our environment will be protected for our children and our grandchildren. And maybe some of you will drive a new, better approach to developing public policy, generally based on best practices and sound science. So whether you choose public service, the private sector, or working with NGOs, I know that as Luskin graduates, you are eminently qualified to help meet the challenge facing our city, our state, our nation, and our world. Though I selfishly hope that you will stay part of meeting the challenges here in Los Angeles and to be an advocate and a champion for Los Angeles. Now, you've made the choice to directly mold and shape whatever city or community you plan on going to. An amazing adventure awaits you, filled with triumphs and setbacks, to be sure. But you will have the privilege of thinking about and responding to society's greatest problems, creating and implementing policies to enhance the lives of many because of the education you received at the Luskin School. That, my friends, is what makes public policy and public service a noble cause. That is what gets me excited to wake up every single day to take on the challenges facing our city. That is what a UCLA education gave to me, and the gift that you have earned today on graduation day. I look forward to seeing you and working with many of you in the future. I look forward to seeing your work and the good work that you will do. I can feel the excitement and the passion in the air. So I'm ready, I hope you are, to roll up your sleeves and get going and change the world. Congratulations to you all, and good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Controller Gruel, for these very inspiring words. So now we are going to present our doctoral candidates. Actually, yesterday night, the university, in its hooding ceremony, has already conferred the doctoral degrees, but we would like to recognize these students that have spent quite a few years with us. So first, I would like to ask Chair Fernando Torres-Gil to present the social welfare doctoral candidates.
It gives me great pleasure to call to the stage the PhD faculty advisors and their doctoral candidates.
Hangzhang Kelu, the geographical distribution of nonprofit human service organizations and neighborhood characteristics. Policymakers recognize the importance of nonprofit human service organizations in providing vital services to vulnerable populations and neighborhoods. But we know very little why these nonprofits locate themselves in certain neighborhoods but not others. This is the question that AJ addresses in his dissertation. Amassing the most comprehensive data on nonprofit in Los Angeles County, AJ showed that the standard model, economic model of supply and demand, just doesn't work. Rather, factors such as poverty and community attributes, including residents' community participation, do influence the location of nonprofit human services. AJ is already a seasoned researcher, having been responsible for some of the most important studies that we have done in our own Center for Civil Society. Equally important, he's also an expecting father. Congratulations.
Good morning. Simon Funge. Simon's dissertation was entitled Teaching Efficacy and Context, Integrating Social Justice into Social Work Education. It was the first national study to explore social work educators' beliefs about their ability to incorporate content on social justice, a core value of social work profession, into their teaching. His work extends our understanding of teacher efficacy in higher education, including the importance of educational environment, as well as our understanding of what constitutes educators' efficacy beliefs, especially related to teaching social justice. From a practical standpoint, social work education will benefit from the contribution of these findings to better understand how the educational environment may affect the ability of educators to prepare future social work professionals to promote social justice. Beginning this fall, Simon will continue his research agenda as an assistant professor at Western Kentucky University's Department of Social Welfare. Please welcome Dr. Simon Funge. I have plenty. Cindy Sangalang. Cindy's dissertation, entitled Racial Discrimination, Ethnic Identity, and Depression Among Cambodian American Adolescents, investigated the ways in which experiences of racial discrimination and ties to ethnic identity affect mental health for Cambodian American adolescents. Her results showed that Cambodian American adolescents experience racial discrimination in multiple contexts, including from peers, school, and the community, and that these experiences contribute significantly to their levels of depression. Her findings underscore the need to examine young people's own perceptions of racial discrimination and their consequences for mental health, and they have broader implications for reducing mental health disparities by informing practice interventions that promote individual resilience and by supporting societal and institutional policies that eliminate structural discrimination and cultivate diversity. Please welcome Dr. Cindy Sangalan.
I'm honored to congratulate Megan Renee Holmes on completing her PhD in social welfare. During her tenure at UCLA, she has received many awards and fellowships, including the 2012 Society for Social Work and Research Doctoral Fellows Award for her dissertation, Long-Term Effects of Intimate Partner Violence on Children's Social Behavior. In her dissertation work, Megan found that children exposed to domestic violence during the critical 0 to 3 developmental period exhibited more aggressive behaviors and poor social skills, but that these behaviors didn't show up until the children began to enter school. This study is one of the first to examine these long-term effects of children's exposure to intimate partner violence on future development and has clear implications for social work practice. On a professional level, Megan has developed into a strong scholar who is dedicated to developing interventions that improve the lives of young children who have been exposed to domestic violence. She will begin as an assistant professor at Case Western Reserve University in the fall. On a personal level, Megan, it has been my absolute pleasure to witness your intellectual growth as a scholar. I will miss our weekly interactions, your thoughtful comments and critiques, and your commitment to learning. I look forward to seeing how your career continues to grow and develop in our new role of colleagues. I have no doubt that you will continue to be as successful at Case as you were at UCLA. Congratulations, Dr. Holmes.
I am very pleased today to introduce and congratulate Dr. Dustianne North as she receives her PhD. Ted Benjamin, as chair of her dissertation committee, has asked me to express his regrets for not being here today, and as a member of Dustianne's committee, I'm happy to stand in. Dustianne's thoughtful doctoral dissertation, titled Navigating Decisions, Transitions, and Transformations, How Justice Organizers Develop and Sustain Careers, reflects her own career interest in social movements and community organizing. In her research, Dustianne seeks to make sense of how community organizers negotiate uncertain careers by interviewing a diverse group of participants and examining a number of decision points in their careers. In the first type of study of this kind, she traces out themes involving personal histories, organizational contexts, and other forces to understand decision-makings and the forces that sustain and challenge the long-term careers of community organizers and social justice organizers. With her PhD in hand, Dustianne plans to continue her long-standing community practice career. The faculty warmly congratulate you as you receive your PhD. Okay, and last but not least, I am extremely pleased to congratulate Diane Terry on the completion of her doctoral degree and her third Bruin degree, and likely her last. Diane's dissertation, Social Supports and Criminal Desistance Among Formerly Incarcerated Youth in the Transition to Adulthood, stems from her steadfast commitment in her personal and professional life to believe in the humanity and capacity for change among people who have been incarcerated. In the course of her research, Diane traveled across the county from Lancaster to Long Beach, to interview 19 to 24-year-old formerly incarcerated young men who were sometimes couch surfing, mostly unemployed, and typically still in and out of the criminal justice system. Diane navigated this project with skill and determination, I should add, while pregnant and after giving birth to her son, Lamont Jr., now 1 and in the audience. Her research found that these young men were in various stages of leaving a criminal lifestyle behind, shaped not by their chronological age, but their motivation to change and the supports they have around them. All of the young men struggled with the weight of their past, feeling targeted by enemies, by the police, and some of their old friends. Some even feared for their own lives in making changes. In the transition to adulthood, having a job or a family helped some, but not all. It was important to have social support, particularly from family, that encouraged and supported young men in achieving the change they desired. Diane will be moving on to conduct research for the purpose of advocacy and policy change for incarcerated populations. I've had the pleasure of working with Diane for 6 years, and I will miss her collaboration, her passion, and her camaraderie. Thank you.
Congratulations to all social welfare doctoral candidates, actually doctors, I should say. And now I would like to ask Chair Lois Takahashi to come and present the urban planning doctors.
It was my pleasure and honor to call to the stage the PhD faculty advisors and their doctoral candidates from the Department of Urban Planning.
Good morning. I'm Evelyn Blumenberg, a professor on the faculty in the Department of Urban Planning, and it's my pleasure and honor this morning to congratulate Dr. Michael Smart. Michael has a BA from Yale, a master's degree in urban planning from the University of Pennsylvania, and now a degree in urban planning from the Luskin School. Michael's research portfolio goes well beyond his dissertation work. He's published numerous articles and worked on a wide variety of research projects while here at UCLA, on his own, with other student co-authors, and with a number of our faculty. His research focuses in the area of transportation planning. He has a particular interest in ethnic neighborhoods, a fundamental feature of life in Los Angeles. Michael's dissertation, entitled Immigrant Ethnic Neighborhoods, Inward Focus and Travel Mode Choice, examines the characteristics of ethnic neighborhoods and how these characteristics influence the travel behavior of neighborhood residents. The basic idea is that if residents of ethnic neighborhoods are more inwardly focused than residents living in other neighborhoods, so for example, they might stay in the neighborhood, travel to ethnic jobs and stores and services, that this behavior ought to, and in fact in many cases does, influence their activity patterns and the mode by which they travel around. Next year, we get the benefit of all of Michael's talents. He'll be working as a visiting scholar and a postdoctoral fellow at the Lewis Center for Regional Policy Studies and the Institute of Transportation Studies, accumulating those publications until he's lured away by another major university. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Michael Smart.
How are you all doing this morning? Are you feeling good? Really? Dr. Eric Morris wants to know why you're feeling good. Is it because you or a loved one is finally getting that graduate degree from the Luskin School of Public Affairs? Is it because we're in magnificent Royce Hall, a shining monument to pre-Proposition 13 California? Or is it because you live in a low-crime neighborhood with good schools and shops and restaurants within walking distance? In other words, does urban planning make a difference with how people feel about themselves? With the help of Social Welfare Chair Fernando Torres-Gil, Professor Morris managed to convince the folks at the Gallup poll to include some of the first transportation questions they have ever asked. After spending months gathering data on a myriad of neighborhood and metropolitan characteristics, merging these with the Gallup data, Professor Morris learned some very interesting things. All things equal, living in a neighborhood where they feel safe to walk makes people happier. So does having access to a car, or for that matter, a rail transit station. But what about living in a place where shops are nearby? Living in an area with a pleasant climate, with little traffic congestion, with great museums and sports teams? None of these things and many other urban environmental factors appear to have any effect on people's subjective well-being. So Professor Morris's research has shown us, all things equal, living in a safe neighborhood and having a good means of transportation may well have made you all feel just a little bit happier today, and you didn't even know that. And I feel pretty good about this, and I hope you do too. So next month, Professor Morris will happily move across the country to take up residence as an assistant professor of city and regional planning at Clemson University in South Carolina. A native of Chicago, he is a graduate of Harvard University. He's also an accomplished television writer and producer. As I mentioned last week, he has his own IMDb page. And he's the transportation blogger for the Freakonomics website, which has long been hosted by the New York Times. So please join me in congratulating Professor Eric Morris on this very happy achievement.
Congratulations. Oops, I don't have a sound. Now I do. Congratulations, Mike and Eric. And now the time that many of you were waiting for, this is the time that we are going to present the candidates for the Master of Social Welfare. And Professors Fernando Torres-Gil, Laura Abrams, and Karen Lee will present the candidates, and Dean Gilliam will confer the degree.
Candidates for the Master of Social Welfare, please rise. Dean Gilliam, I present to you the candidates for the Masters of Social Welfare, the MSW.
By the power vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I bestow upon you the degree of Master of Social Welfare and all rights and privileges thereof. Congratulations.
Amanda Steeman. Catherine Layla Sarkarti. Louise King Takina. Janine Evans. Andrea de la Riva Moreno. Emmanuel Perez Santana. Alberto Vega Jr. Douglas Elias Pimentel. Sepeda Saremi. Rachel Michaeli Norris. Tatiana Plaxina. Tanoz Alagband. Meme Onspoker Aksinban. Melissa Lynn Potash. And Lisa Ann Gerasi. Laura Nicole Finkel. Laura Jane Gregg. Amanda Smick. Gao Sivko. Ta'an Le'i. Nikki loves her family, Howell. Stephanie Crystal Hare. Cassandra Ann Peterson. Okay, go ahead. Oh, congratulations. Christina Panagiota Consuelos. Brandy Barta. Candace Nicole Lamping. Allison Nicola. Megan Lynn Ramsey. Lauren Whitney Lale. Stephanie Marie Enano. Heather Lynn Elliott. Okay, go ahead. Adelaida Cervantes. Carmen Gabriela Espinoza. Renee Samuel Obando. Gloria Tina Olegin. Rebecca K. Lomanuco. Erin Miyumi Nakumira. Hazel Francisca Maria Larimer. Paola Latorre Ray.
Sabrina Miranda. Irene Campos. Young Ji Bae. Tiffany Y.Yi Chuck. Leslie Ann Porter. Robin Hong. Maybrook Trung. Jacqueline Lee Mann. Kimberly Spencer Suarez. Barbara Jean Ferry. Jennifer Sarah Thea Blair. Julie Weldon. Elizabeth Ann Lee. Robin Ann Eckenstedt. Erica Gabriela Rivas. Denise Frieden. Gayane Garibian. Cliff Edward Roberts. Sarah Doris Lee. Ali Mujarradi. Kristen Marie Schoonover. Stephanie Hyam. Vera Cherny. Christopher Kaufman. Kelly Amanda Lee. Mary Louise Francois Roach. Ann Soon Choi. Jennifer Vallejo. Alyssa Harriet Rosen. David Shoa Wong. Madison Lee Botorf. Brian Davis Hardgrave. Alma Gabriela Campos Garcia. April Joy Dawn Lamayo. Julianne Steinberger. Amy Elizabeth Sachs. Hannah Golub. Lauren Elizabeth Brown. Sagal Rave. Laura Schlechter. Brittany Rudinica. Brent Toshio Mori. Mark Permseven. Cornell Wayne Williams, Jr. Jared Matthew Sobel. Emily Lorraine Blake. Ann Catherine Eicher. Artie D'Angelo. Tanya Christina Trumbull. Doris Y.C. Ing. Elizabeth Shin.
So we will now present the candidates for the Master of Urban and Regional Planning. Professors Lois Takahashi and Vinit Mukherjee will present the candidates, and Dean Gilliam will confer the degree.
Will the candidates... Sorry, I don't even have to ask. They just do what I'm thinking. Will the candidates for the Master of Urban and Regional Planning please stand again? Dean Gilliam, I present to you the candidates for the Master of Urban Planning and Regional Planning. The Master of Urban Planning is what it should say.
No, they were so prepared, I just thought I'd let them wait for a while. By the power vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I bestow upon you the degree of Master of Urban and Regional Planning and all rights and privileges thereof. Congratulations.
Sarah Palmer. Lars Erik Carlson. Nicholas Peter Foster. Stephen Lockwood Gary. Adam Ignacio Briones. Antonio Sanchez. Alexander Schaefer. Yumiko Ota. Nathaniel Singming Lau. Susie Delgado. Will Domini. Ben Palmquist. Ginevra Hudson Brown. George Howard Ian Elder. Madeline Claire Wander. Betsy Rose, happy birthday, Ginny Edaseri. Jennifer Rose Carmel. Julia Rose Campbell. Liz Mendez Palomo. Kate Mayerson. Cynthia Guzman. Jessica Durham. Ariella Kaufman Summit. Pamela Stephens. Erin Michelle Coleman. John Edward Tumamo Guevara. Shadrach J. Philip Floria. Ivan D. Gonzalez. Earl Kim Kane. Ruben Albert Duarte. Christopher Jones. Ryan William Johnson. Taylor Cho. Ayala Ben Yehuda. Jason Hyde. Craig Raphael. Darren Jesse Conley. Grace Phillips. Sarah Virginia Peters. Cullen McCormick. Hannah Polo. Lindsay Ann Miller. Michael Derby Coons. Chen Liu. Jinghua So. Lu Lu. Catherine Eleanor Lemon. David Lloyd Dawson. Christina Ashley Bailey. Jessica Hyman. Amy Renee Vital. Bradley Cleveland. Dao Min Don. Alec Edwin Miller. J. Esther Jung. Kimberly Renee Williams. Daisy Elizabeth Allen. Moya M. Ojariji. Laura Pryor. Daniel Gregory Kurz. Shira Ariel Bergstein. Catherine Elizabeth Gladstein. Huma Hussein. Kristen Michelle Torres. Michelle Mary Craven. Eugenio Christian Fernandez. Brenda Perez. Elsa Rodriguez. Lupita Ibarra. Luis Alfredo Topete.
Congratulations, Masters of Urban Planning. And now we're going to present the candidates for the Master of Public Policy. Professors Michael Stoll and Meredith Phillips will present the candidates, and Dean Gilliam will confer the degrees.
Public Policy. Will the candidates for the Master of Public Policy please rise? All right. Dean Gilliam, I present to you the candidates, Masters of Public Policy.
By the power vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I bestow upon you the degree of Master of Public Policy and all rights and privileges thereof. Congratulations.
Annie Kuo. Tsai Wei Wen. Susumu Matsumoto. Meng Wu. Shen Wang. Rabia Ghani. Henna Zadi. Maribel Angulo. Zodine Del Rosario. Brandon Rose. Snejana Daly. Catherine Angati. Danielle Fossey. Allison Oviedo. Megan Kirkaby. Abby McClelland. Judith Ballman. Michelle de Santiago. Alicia Castro Salinas. Abir Gaver. Dong Suk Han. Cristo Morokov. Joshua Lowe. Alicia Maholland. Sarab Sarang Khalsa. Jennifer Saucedo. Andrea Sorensen. Robbie Lester. David Taylor. Logan Contreras. Adrian Wynn. Andrea Lavano. Lindsay Gilchrist.
This now concludes the commencement ceremonies for the graduating class of 2012. Please, everybody, give them a round of applause. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge faculty members and staff who have served the school for many, many years and are now retiring. So I want to give a thank you to Professors Gilda Haas, Stuart Kirk, Joanne Dameron Rodriguez, Alan Scott, Mary Jane Varley, and especially our former Dean, Barbara Nelson. Thank you to all of you for your many years of service. I want to give a special thanks to the families and friends who have come here today to support our students. And particularly, I want to give a special shout out to the parents. I know many of you are happy. I know this is a remarkable day for you. I'm the father of a student who has just completed her freshman year, and if she can get to this point, heck, if she can get to next week, I'll be happy. And so I know for the parents in here, this is really a great day, and I'm so happy for you. I want to give a special thanks to the university organist, Professor Christoph Bull. Please give him a round of applause. We really appreciate him. He does a wonderful job with our commencement. He plays a rather old organ that not lots of people can play, and so we're really thrilled that he's always been there for us. I want to express my gratitude to the faculty, all of you, for coming today. I really appreciate it. Give them a round of applause. I certainly want to thank the staff. They've been tremendous in getting this event together. They've all pitched in where needed, and we really appreciate that. And I especially want to thank VC Powell. VC, where are you? VC essentially produces this event and stage directs and tells me where to go every year, so I'm very thankful for her. And we want to, of course, thank Los Angeles City Controller Wendy Gruhl for her inspirational words. For you now, our now alumni, we want you to stay in touch. There's going to be an easy way for you to do this. If you sign up for something called Luskin Online, I think it's a really good time for you to sign up now because you'll be able to connect with fellow alums of the school, network about jobs, post updates about new opportunities, and other kinds of information. We're going to give you a swag bag here today that will have this information and other goodies in it. Now I ask that, yeah, free swag, right? They don't care about the diploma, they just want the swag. Please now I ask that the families and the graduates remain seated so we can do a formal recession from the hall, and then I invite all of you to join us for a reception outside on Dixon Plaza, and there'll be students who are alumni now will be coming after they take their class pictures. So thank all of you for coming.